Another one of his family members had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt. And so I went to be by myself at the pool area where I was at the time. A guy walked up to me and he's like, well, you look like you need somebody to talk to. Do you want to go to my camper and talk?
Over a man who's taking advantage of both of you, and then you sit up and say you don't feel some kind of way because I see too much. If he just leave me alone, I'd be all right. He don't just slip on a banana peel and land between your legs. No.
This case went from 0 to 100 real fast. Mr. Rash believes his wife, Ms. Fuentes, has been cheating everywhere, even with 5 brothers from the same family. He's forgiven her multiple times, but now questions if the kids are even his. Just when things can't get wilder, Ms. Fuentes drops a bombshell. Then, she reveals another man is waiting outside because he might be the real father. Mr. Rash looks stunned as the courtroom collectively gasps. Before anyone recovers, another mess unfolds. Today did it because she was out partying instead of parenting. The courtroom watches like a tennis match, unsure who to believe.
He took the kids and wouldn't let me see them for over 6 months. He would not let me talk or see to my kid. That's what he wanted to think.
And go have fun and party.
This is the kind of moment you pause to process. Ms. Fuentes admits to hooking up with one of 5 brothers during a 4th of July picnic while her ex was in prison. Mr. Rash is furious, questioning how she could love one brother but sleep with another. Even the judge looks exhausted by the madness.
Because she had called me and asked me and said,
reminds him DNA doesn't care about looks. Mr. Judd already seems to regret showing up.
What was the nature of your relationship?
Pretty much just family friend.
Mrs. Judd takes the stand and shocks everyone by saying, she didn't sleep with all my sons, just some of them. The audience loses it. She actually likes Ms. Fuentes and thinks her son is just embarrassed. Just when it seems like things can't get wilder, it's time for the DNA results.
Ms. Fuentes had sex with pretty much all your sons. Oh, how many you got?
I got 10.
Ooh, all boys?
I got 3 girls.
Woo.
She'll do anything in the world for me, and I'll do anything in the world for her. I love her children. Children look at me like the grandmother.
Mr. Rash is visibly there from the start and hopes for confirmation. The audience sympathizes but braces for the results. The tension is thick as Judge Lake prepares to reveal the truth. This story is straight up messy from the start. Mr. Brown says he found an intimate violence tape of his wife with another man, and now thinks the baby isn't his. The court is about to bring in that guy, and things are about to get even worse.
Mr. Brown, you say there is no way you are Amira's biological father. After finding a sex tape of your wife with another man, you now intend to prove he fathered Amira.
Mr. Brown found the video because their kids grabbed Ms. McKinney's phone, and he snatched it just in time. He played the video, saw something nasty, and shut it off real quick. Now the courtroom is about to meet the star of the show, the other man.
One day, the girls, they like snatching her phone, so they grabbed her phone. Before they could even get to the video, I grabbed it, and it pressed play, and I seen the beginning of the video, and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
What was in her phone?
They were scrolling through her pictures, whatever, and before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Oh, because you knew it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, it didn't look like a video, so I clicked on it, and didn't like what I seen, and I disclosed it.
The man from the tape, Jonathan Fowler, walks in like nothing's wrong. He admits he had a year-long thing with Ms. McKinney and met her while her husband was right there. This just keeps getting messier, and now Ms. McKinney's story is falling apart.
Mr. Brown found a sex tape of his wife and you.
Well, when I first met Miss McKinley, we was talking on the dating site, and the day I met her, Mr. Brown was present, but they wasn't together. But I seen them face to face.
Oh!
The dates are not adding up at all. Ms. McKinney told Fowler she was pregnant in June 2017, but he says they stopped hooking up months before that. Nobody knows what's going on, and the judge's face says it all.
Me and Miss McKinney met up, and she told me she was pregnant in June of 2017, summer.
What did she tell you exactly?
And she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I
nothing.
said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth with him and him.
What's April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Mr. Brown refused to sign the birth certificate, and so did Ms. McKinney. She didn't want him on it because of child support, and now everyone is confused. If you think this is bad, just wait for what's next.
When Amira was born, where were you? Were you there?
I was present.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
I refused to let him sign it.
I said no because Amira didn't look like me. That's why I said no.
That too.
Why did you refuse?
Because since we're married and I get public assistance, they're gonna try to hit him with child support.
But you all were legally married. So why would he have to be on the hook for child support if you're legally married?
I didn't want him to sign a birth certificate.
The results drop, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you.
This case is straight up wild from the start. Fisher regrets signing the birth certificate because Doyle just told him he might not be the dad. He loves them both, but his whole world is about to flip upside down.
Mr. Fisher, you claim you made the biggest mistake of your life by signing the birth certificate for 2-month-old Sophia. You say your fiance dropped a bomb on you just 1 month ago and admitted you may not be her father.
Doyle explains how she got tricked into thinking Fisher cheated, so she went and did the same thing. Turns out, Fisher never cheated, so she ruined everything for nothing. This is some next-level bad decision-making.
I was on vacation with one of his family members in Florida, and another one of his family members had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt, and so I went to be by myself at the pool area where I was at the time. A guy walked up to me, and he's like, well, you look like you need somebody to talk to. Do you want to go to my camper and talk?
Fisher was clueless until after Sophia was born, and then Doyle finally spilled the truth. He had already bonded with Sophia, so this news crushed him. And just to make it worse, he had proposed while she was keeping this secret.
The day that I found out she was pregnant, she had threw up like 3 or 4 times because she was feeling sick. We purchased the pregnancy tests. She took them. One had a faint line, and then one had both lines. And I was happy. That was the best day of my life.
So whenever I seen the lines, I was kind of upset. I was like, well, this isn't happening, you know?
Fisher thought he was living in a love story, but really, it was a disaster movie. Doyle knew the truth but still said yes, hoping it would just go away. Spoiler, it did not.
What happens in your relationship?
I told her, I went to work that day and I was thinking about proposing to her because I love her. She's my world. I got home that day, I had the ring in my pocket. I told her how I felt. I said, I love you, you're my world, you're everything I've ever wanted. I want to take this family to a whole nother level. Will you marry me? She said yes.
Fisher was the happiest man alive, coaching Doyle through labor and signing the birth certificate. He had no idea he was in an emotional landmine. Now everything he thought was real is in question.
When she was giving birth, I held her hand. I felt like I was the dad, which at the time, I was pretty sure I was. I held her. I kept telling her, push, push, push. I want to see my baby. And afterwards, right there, I held her. I signed the birth certificate and everything because I thought it was my baby.
The courtroom calendar exposes the ugly truth. The baby's birth date lines up exactly with the time Doyle was in Florida with Camper Guy. Fisher is staring at the math like it just personally attacked him.
Sophia was born on January 15th. You took vacation April 21st to May 1st. And that's the window of time in which you cheated.
Yes,
Admit it.
Your Honor.
When you calculate it, the window of conception would be between April 19th to April 26th for a child born on January 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Instead of flipping out, Fisher says he'll love Sophia no matter what. Everyone in the room is shook because this is not the reaction they expected. Even Doyle is crying because she knows she doesn't deserve this much kindness.
That's my baby no matter what. And you're my wife. I love you.
Why did that bring you to tears, Miss Doyle?
Because he's so understanding, and if it were me in his position, I wouldn't have stayed.
You don't know how hard it is.
The moment of truth is here, and Fisher is sweating bullets.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fisher, you are the father.
Oh boy, this is already messy. Ms. Thomas and Mr. Nelson were together for 6 years, had 5 kids, and now he's questioning the last one? This is just the start of a wild ride.
Ms. Thomas, you claim you spent 6 years in a relationship with the defendant, Mr. Taylor, and gave him 5 beautiful children. In return, he cheated on you and is now questioning the paternity of your youngest child, 8-month-old Jakai. You are here to prove paternity and win him back.
Turns out both of them were messing around. Mr. Nelson says she was already with other guys when she got pregnant, but Ms. Thomas swears he was the only one. Somebody is definitely lying, and we're about to find out who.
It was good in the beginning when we first started having children. And then after that, it's like me and her started like both doing our own little thing. And we was already about to split, but she ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, she was already messing around with other guys. So I didn't know what to believe.
It was rocky, but I was not sleeping with different men. Mr. Nelson was the only one that I was sleeping with at the time, especially during my conception date.
Ms. Thomas says he cheated the whole time. She stayed because of their history, but he claims the relationship was already over. If that's true, why is he still acting so mad?
He cheated on me throughout almost our whole entire relationship. We went through hard times. Why wouldn't you want to make something like that work with somebody you had all these years with, all these kids with, and you just want to...
That's why I don't even know this chat, like, man.
He gave up the relationship. I wish it was that easy for me during them times to just throw it away.
It was easy. I asked her, Your Honor, I said, are you gonna leave this guy alone? She said no.
Mr. Nelson went full detective mode and found things in her purse, a man's photo on her phone, and noticed she started coming home late. Ms. Thomas says he was already emotionally checked out, but the real proof is coming next.
How did you find that out?
The dude's picture was popping up on her phone.
It didn't start like that. He decided to leave because at that time we did grow apart.
I used to find stuff on her purse and everything. She'd be like, I'm going to work today. She'd come back and be like, you like this outfit right here? I'm like, yeah, where you going? If anything, I've been here with the kids all day long, all 4 of them. She did. She came in at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, where you come from? So I'm grown. I can do what I want to do.
Ms. Thomas pulls out an ovulation app like she's in science class. She says she only slept with Mr. Nelson during her fertile days and even brought receipts. But before he can argue, someone else is about to call him out.
I also had an app on my phone tracking my periods when I'm ovulating, and I have it right here.
So you were tracking your cycle. Was this with the intention of getting pregnant or not getting pregnant?
He actually wanted me to get pregnant.
She told me all them days with him. She said that's why every time she had sex with him.
And now his wife steps up. She found a video proving he was still sleeping with Ms. Thomas. Oh, and the way she caught him? Priceless.
It's a video I found. The video is dated April 3rd, which would have been, I guess, the first day or so that she had showed up in Greensboro. All I know is I saw her demeanor when she came around, and she was kind of like high-stepping. I'm like, okay, this is a person that's supposedly supposed to be so hurt. Like, why is she grinning? And then I saw his demeanor, and he looked guilty. I put 2 and 2 together. That's not right. Why is she extra happy and he's looking crazy?
Mr. Nelson finally confesses after getting caught again. Ms. Thomas then drops another bomb. He's been telling her he still wants to get back together. The audience loses it, and Judge Lake is ready to end him.
So, Mr. Nelson, your wife discovered a video of you having sex with your ex, now mistress.
Yes. I made a slip up.
He's comfortable from going from wifey to side chick.
I'm not nobody's side chick because your husband is the one that tells me he wants to leave.
But that makes you a side chick.
That makes you a side chick.
We're legally married.
Wait a minute. No, it does.
Ms. Thomas brings receipts, text messages from 3 weeks ago where he promised to leave his wife. His wife is shocked, and Mr. Nelson looks like he wants to disappear. But Ms. Thomas isn't done yet.
He texts me. He calls me and tells me how much he misses me and wants to be with me. Right. It's not the other way around. And I have messages to be with me.
Did you bring the messages to court with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
These messages are dated from 3 weeks ago. What is your plan for real? So are you really gonna leave her this time? Mr. Nelson, I want my family back.
Ms. Thomas finally lets it all out. She thought they'd always be together, and now she's watching him move on like she never mattered. Judge Lake tells her the hard truth. They're both being played.
Over a man who's taking advantage of both of you, and then you sit up and say you don't feel some kind of way because I see too much. If he just leave me alone, I'd be all right. He don't just slip on a banana peel and land between your legs. No.
The moment everyone's been waiting for. Is he the father?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Nelson, you are the father.
This case started off wild, and the wife was not holding back. Ms. Brown Murray was mad her husband thought she cheated while she was literally dodging bombs overseas. She swears she stayed loyal, but her husband's doubts were about to take center stage.
Today you say you stand before me outraged because your husband has accused you of infidelity while serving in Iraq. Furthermore, you claim he now doubts paternity of your child. You argue that your wife did indeed cheat on you while serving overseas. You contend that there's no way you could be the father because she announced she was pregnant too soon after returning home.
Mr. Murray was straight up stressed out while his wife was away, losing 25 pounds from all the worrying. He was scared younger guys would steal her since he's 22 years older. And then a bomb literally shook his computer during a Skype call. Just when you think it couldn't get worse, he found out she had a male friend overseas.
She went overseas the day after Valentine's. What made it scary for me, first time me being alone in another state with no family, is she still gonna have love for me? It's a lot of men's on basically younger men's. Keep in mind, I'm 22 years older than my wife. So that has a lot to do with my being guilty or bad conscience.
Oh boy, here we go, the just a friend excuse. Ms. Brown Murray says the guy was only a buddy, but her husband wasn't buying it. To prove his point, he brought in a mystery witness to spill some military secrets.
Yes, because I guess he was scared because I had a friend while I was over there. I mean, I built a friendship with a friend, so I guess that's the reason why he...
Well, a male friend.
Yes.
It was also a judge. While I was there in the apartment complex, I met a few people. Lex has 85% of military people either still active or not. He said, which really, this is when I really got worried.
The anonymous military witness was so dramatic, it felt like a spy movie. He claimed cheating was super common on base and that soldiers live by the rule. What happens on base stays on base. Ms. Brown Murray shut that down real quick. But then Mr. Murray pulled out his next big clue.
Well, first and foremost, I don't want to bring any discredit upon the military because the actions of soldiers, they do not reflect the military. There are a lot of times where you join the military and you're away from home, and so the first thing you can do is cling to people who are around you. You develop a camaraderie. Pretty much what goes on base stays on base.
Mr. Murray went full FBI mode after hearing his wife giggle on the phone, saying he's not stupid. He thought she was mocking him and hiding something, but she said he just doesn't get guy-girl friendships. Then, out of nowhere, he dropped the biggest bomb. He didn't even think the baby looked like him.
She's talking to him. I heard her tell him he's not stupid. She ain't talking to her mother like that. She ain't talking to her sister like, who are you talking to? She said his name. And I said, she said, the man called you. I said, well, who's he calling stupid? And she said, you?
What?
And I said, why would he call me stupid? Because you got new shoes and you're excited.
Now, the baby drama really kicked in. Mr. Murray had low sperm count, his baby looked nothing like him, and his wife got pregnant way too fast. The only way to settle this? A DNA test.
I had doubt. I had man's discharge is unusual, and the doctor told me years ago that it had something to do with my sperm cells were weak. When she got home, it happened so fast.
It has been determined by this court that you are her father.
Thank you.
This was totally insane. Mr. Webb wakes up from a coma and finds out Ms. Forrest is pregnant with a baby that could be his or her husband's. Now he's here ready to fight for full custody.
You have been waiting 2 years for this day. You claim the defendant, Mrs. Forrest, left you for dead only to find out once you got out of a coma that she was pregnant and that the baby could be yours or her husband. You and your husband are here today desperate to put an end to this drama. You say you have no doubt your daughter's biological father is indeed your husband.
This whole thing is messier than a spilled milkshake. Ms. Forrest met Mr. Webb while her husband was in trouble, and they hit it off. She left her husband, and they didn't use protection, which led to, well, this.
My husband got in some trouble, and I ended up meeting Mr. Webb through one of my friends. We hit it off. I ended up leaving Mr. Forrest for Mr. Webb.
So you began a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you using protection at the time?
No, Your Honor.
It didn't happen like that at first. Yes, we was in love, but towards the end, I was on life support.
No.
Imagine waking up from a coma and finding out you might be a dad. Yikes. His aunt tells him first, then Ms. Forrest calls and says, yeah, there's a chance. Mr. Webb is sitting there like, what now?
As soon as I got out of hospital, I had got a phone call saying that she was pregnant. I heard it from my aunt first, but on my way to Illinois with my dad, she had called me and told me that it was a possibility that Elena was my child.
So that means she was admitting that she also had slept with other people?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Lake asks if she was with anyone else, and Ms. Forrest says, nope. Mr. Webb instantly calls her a liar, and things get real awkward. The audience is just sitting there like, oof, this is getting messy.
Were you sleeping with anyone else besides Mr. Webb and your husband?
No, Your Honor.
That's a lie,
But when
Your
you
Honor.
called Mr. Webb and said, I'm pregnant.
Which I didn't get back to Miss Forrest until after Travis had done left, or Mr. Webb has done left.
I have a letter from my mom where I was on life support when she came to drop off my stuff.
Which we were already broken up by
then.
then.
Motel.
Ms. Forrest claims she only slept with her husband when the baby was conceived. But Mr. Webb says, no, we were together right before I went into the hospital. The dates are all over the place, and now nobody knows what to believe.
My daughter was born on May 9th of 2013. And then you take it back 9 months later, that takes it to the week of August 26th through August 31st.
August 26th through August 31st, you were sleeping with your...
Just my husband.
The thing about it, Your Honor, is the day that before I went on to life support, we did have sex.
Mr. Webb finds out about the baby through Facebook. not even from Ms. Forrest. She says she told his family, but he's like, then why didn't anyone tell me? Now everyone is pointing fingers, and Judge Lake is over it.
I had got an email on Facebook from my aunt that Miss Forrest had Elena.
So you got news that the baby was born. You didn't hear from Miss Forrest herself?
No, Your Honor, not at first.
You heard through your family?
Yes, Your Honor.
I messaged his mother on Facebook and told her what hospital I was going to be at, when I was going to the hospital and everything. Him or his family, nobody showed up.
Mr. Webb has tried for 2 years to meet his daughter, but Ms. Forrest keeps blocking him. He even spent his last $80 on gas to drive there, only to get ghosted. This is just straight up sad.
He wanted to go.
I drove from Illinois whenever she told me that I could meet Elena. I spent the last $80 I had to put in gas, changed her phone number, and blocked me on Facebook. 3 weeks later, I tried to contact her to meet Elena, and she would not contact me back. That is why we are here today.
Elena is 2 years old. Has still not held this baby?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Webb says if the baby is his, he wants full custody. Ms. Forrest and her husband basically yell, "Not happening!" The courtroom is so tense you could cut it with a butter knife.
This DNA test proves that I am Elena's father. I will fight for my full custody rights.
And I will fight you for custody.
There's no way he is getting my daughter.
So, Mr. Forrest, you're convinced you're Elena.
Well, he is.
Oh, wait. Are you? No. I'm saying, are you convinced you're her biological father?
There's a possibility, yes.
Judge Lake reads the results, and boom.
That her biological father is Mr. Webb.
She got me. You don't have to worry about that. If I'm a man, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do. My job is to protect you and to love you, to show you how a man's supposed to treat you,
This case is already messy right from the start. Ms. Rogers says Mr. Stone got her pregnant, but he's dodging responsibility. He says it was just a fling and that she was with other guys. Things are already heating up.
You say after an encounter with your elementary school sweetheart, you ended up pregnant. Has gone through great lengths to deny he is the father of your son, Christian. You say Ms. Rogers is promiscuous and it was only a casual fling. You say she has even slept with some of your friends and therefore it is impossible you are the father of her baby.
Ms. Rogers runs into her childhood crush, and somehow they go from long time no see to having intimate violence twice in one day. Their fling lasted about a month before she found out he had a girlfriend. Just when you think that's the big drama, nope, it gets worse.
I was at my friend's house, or I was at her boyfriend's house, and we were chilling, and he walked through the door, and I'm like, really? We was talking, laughing. We went back to my friend's house with her boyfriend, and we had sex that day. We left her house and went back to his house and had sex again a couple times. And after that, it's just like, repeatedly, we would hang out, have sex.
And then, boom, Mr. Stone drops a bomb. Their unprotected night together was during a threesome. The judge mishears and thinks he said freezer, making things even funnier. The audience is already losing it, and we're only getting started.
Did you have unprotected sex
One time,
with
Your
Ms.
Honor.
Stone?
It was not one time.
And that was in the threesome.
It was not. It was
in
not
the
one time.
where?
And the threesome between me, her, and...
We had a threesome. The night I found out that he had a girlfriend, we had a threesome.
Jerome, at first I thought he said in the freezer.
Ms. Rogers finds out she's pregnant while getting a birth control shot. Talk about bad timing. She's scared because she's 18 with twins and just got into college. Mr. Stone, however, swears she never even told him.
I went to the doctor to get my birth control shot because I know I'm having sex, so I'm like, I need to go because I don't want to have no more kids.
Anymore?
I have twins.
18 years old with 3 children?
Yes. I didn't want no more kids because I had just got accepted to college. Things was looking up, so I was like, I wanted to put the cap on before anything happened, not knowing that I was already pregnant. So it was like, I was scared.
Ms. Rogers says Mr. Stone was right there for the ultrasound and even roasted the baby's big head. Mr. Stone says he never saw it and only got a picture through a text. Someone here is clearly lying and the audience knows it.
Yeah, I wasn't driving. I was in the passenger seat. My friend came to me. We were chilling, talking, and then he said he had to go pick them up and drop them off.
He saw the ultrasound pictures when I came out the hospital. He looked at them. He held them in his hand and looked at them.
No, I did not.
Picture of my ultrasound. It said, you're having a boy. I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 4 months pregnant. I give him that. I'm in the car with my friend. They had been over my house. They was like, I said, can you take me to my ultrasound? She said, okay.
Now we've reached the math part of the drama. Ms. Rogers says the doctor confirmed the baby was conceived in November, which lines up with their fling. Mr. Stone, though, is looking at the timeline like it's an impossible puzzle.
The lady said that I got pregnant during the beginning of November.
No, Your Honor, we were intimate between the 17th and the 22th. My birthday is the 24th. It was
the week before my birthday.
We had been having sex for almost a month. We started having sex at the end of October towards the end of November.
It was the beginning, like the mid-November.
Ms. Rogers pulls out text message receipts where Mr. Stone calls the baby my baby. Now he's backpedaling, saying he got attached but still isn't sure. At this point, everyone is just waiting for that DNA test.
This is the first time he's saying this. Let me tell you something. When me and him talk, this is his baby. This is really baby. He says my baby. He does not say the baby. He says my baby.
Text messages. The messages say, from Mr. Stone, what are you doing? And you say, sitting here. And Mr. Stone says, oh, okay, I miss Nugget. You write, okay. And then you write back, Mr. Stone, when can I have my baby?
And then, boom, plot twist.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stone, you are not the father.
This situation was wild from the start. Phelan Hannon thought Kimball was her dad until at 13, he hit her with, I am not your father. Years later, on her mom's deathbed, she found out her real dad was David Dorsey. Now, she had to track down a man she had never met.
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy. Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity.
When Phelan was little, she asked Kimball to take her to a daddy-daughter dance. Instead of just going, he told her, I'm not your dad. Good luck. That's a next-level RSVP rejection. Just when it seemed bad, things got even messier.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day, the daddy-daughter dance. Instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you. I'm not your dad. You need to go find your real dad.
How cruel.
Before passing, Phelan's mom finally admitted she had guessed wrong. David Dorsey was her actual dad. So now, on top of grieving, Phelan had to track down a stranger and hope he didn't reject her too. Buckle up, this ride was far from over.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-heart because she was sick my whole entire life. You know, she would be talking about Kimball, she would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father.
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Denial. Imagine telling someone, hey, you might be my dad, and they reply, I don't even know your mom. David stood there, denying everything, while the audience gasped like they were watching a soap opera. But the receipts were coming.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't remember her mother?
I don't know her mother.
So you are standing here at the defendant's podium in this courtroom today saying you know you cannot be Miss Hannon's biological father because you have never met her mother.
No, I haven't, Your Honor.
David thought he could deny it all until Phelan's godmother stepped in. She said, oh no, sir, I remember you. She recalled David bringing Phelan's mom lunch at work. Suddenly, he wasn't looking so sure of himself.
Me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we worked together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom lunch. Her mom would talk about her baby daddy being David.
Your Honor.
You don't remember any of this?
Your Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
David claimed he didn't know Phelan's mom, but then it turned out he had a different last name, David Watkins. That was the name Phelan had heard her whole life. Either this was a wild coincidence or someone's memory was off.
Because I remember her mom talking about a David. That's your dad.
Oh wait, this is David Dorsey. You said David Watkins.
It was a David.
My name used to be David Watkins. I was adopted, and he changed my name to Watkins, and then when I got grown, I changed my name back to my dad's name.
So what are you thinking? You thinking this woman just made this up?
Your Honor, I don't know this woman.
David's daughter, Melody, walked in and was like, Dad, stop playing. She hugged Phelan and said, that's my sister. If David wouldn't claim Phelan, Melody was going to do it for him.
I love you too. That's my sister. You know, I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone, okay? So he was the man, and like, he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the Slayer.
Melody revealed that people had always said Phelan looked just like her. She even saw Phelan's picture and thought, that's literally me. Meanwhile, David was still like, I don't know, I don't remember. Sir, do you need glasses?
There's this girl that looks like you. She looks so much like you. Can you please just get in contact with this girl, please? Because you look so much like her. Went on to Facebook, you know, and I looked up her name. When I seen her face, I I was like, if that's not me, maybe about a good 50 pounds ago,
Even David started questioning himself. He admitted Phelan looked like him and his daughter, but stuck to his "I don't remember" story. No worries, the DNA test was about to settle this.
I feel sorry for her.
Is there any part of you that says, if she is my daughter, I've missed out on 30 years of this woman's life, this young woman, this beautiful, smart young woman, I've missed out on her life?
Yeah, I'm torn that way too, though. I feel one kind of way, but then I feel bad if I missed out on her life, if I am her father.
Judge Lake opened the envelope and the room went silent. The result?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
This case is already a mess before it even starts. Miss Lockridge is 100% sure Mr. Tidwell is the father of her 10-month-old son, King, so she dragged him to court to prove it. Meanwhile, Mr. Tidwell looks lost, claiming they weren't in a real relationship and saying someone else must be the dad. Buckle up, this is just the beginning.
Ms. Lockridge, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Tidwell, to court because he has refused to acknowledge your 10-month-old son, King. You are 100% sure he's the father and claim today's results will prove your case. You say you were never in a serious relationship with Ms. Lockridge and you were stunned when she told you she was pregnant.
Dispute. If confusion was a sport, these two would be gold medalists. Miss Lockridge says Mr. Tidwell has been a total ghost. No diapers, no clothes, no visits. She's taken long trips just for him to see the baby, and he still barely tries. Mr. Tidwell swears they were just hooking up and calls her obsessed. Oh, buddy, you have no idea what's coming.
Your Honor, Mr. Tidwell does not have a relationship with my son. The only time he's actually seen my son is when I've made it a convenience for him and brought him to him. That means traveling 4 hours on bus. He hasn't helped with diapers. He barely helped with any clothes, and it hurt. It's frustrating. He named my son King, and how am I supposed to raise a king, and he's not there?
You named him King, Mr. Tidwell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Reveal Imagine a sticky note, but instead of a reminder, it's an ultrasound photo. Miss Lockridge says she left a note and picture on his bed because his brother was there. Mr. Tidwell claims he was blindsided and only found out later through a text. That's one way to break the news, but wait until they discuss conception.
She came over to my house. We hung out. The next day, I see a piece of paper on my bed. I grab it, I looked at it. It was a note with an ultrasound in it. I'm not sure the exact words of the note, but it said that she didn't know how to tell me this, and she's sorry she had to tell me like that. So I called her. She didn't answer the phone. She ended up leaving me a text message saying that she was sorry and that she didn't know how to tell me that she was pregnant.
This pregnancy talk is next level awkward. Miss Lockridge says she mentioned having her period a week before, but Mr. Tidwell told her to shut up and carried on. Yes, that's a direct quote. The courtroom's collective jaw dropped. Mr. Tidwell calls it a total lie, shaking his head like he just heard the wildest thing ever.
When we conceived my child, I told him I just had my period a week ago.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
He said, shut up, and we kept going at it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a lie, Your Honor.
You thought that he wanted or didn't mind if he got you pregnant.
I mean, he just got another girl pregnant 4 months prior, and I asked him, what you gonna do about it? He said, if it's mine, then I'm gonna take care of it. So next time I come over, heck yeah, I'm excited.
This is the part where the audience starts shaking their heads. Miss Lockridge kept him updated on doctor's appointments and even sent baby heartbeat recordings. He still didn't show up. She went through 36 hours of labor alone, and a nurse had to get special permission to stay with her. And just when you think he looks bad, it gets worse.
He didn't care about, I texted him when I was every doctor's appointment. I even sent him voice recordings of the heartbeat, all that. Like, when I had my son, I was in labor for 36 hours completely by myself, to the point where the nurse that was with me, she had to call the doctor and ask the doctor if she could stay with me because I was by myself.
This is like a game of telephone gone wrong. Mr. Tidwell's mom says Miss Lockridge ditched the baby on them for 2 weeks. Miss Lockridge says she asked them to watch him while she worked. Mr. Tidwell swears she disappeared and later returned with a mystery man. The drama just keeps piling up.
I don't understand how a mother could actually leave her child with that she doesn't really even know very well for 2 weeks.
It wasn't
and
2
get
weeks.
on the
It was
plane
Thursday to
and go
Tuesday
to
to Nevada,
saying she had a modeling job. Just all of a sudden, just jumps up and leaves this baby with us. We took care of the baby at that time.
I call her, I'm like, when are you coming back? Like, I have stuff to do too. I have, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, boom, she was there.
This debate is like an episode of CSI Baby Edition. Miss Lockridge presents baby photos as evidence, swearing King looks exactly like Mr. Tidwell's family. She even calls him an Ethiopian baby. Mr. Tidwell's mom isn't convinced, but all this arguing won't matter once the DNA results come in.
So here's the first picture. That is my son, King. And here is the second picture. That is Mr. Tidwell. The thing that catches me up is he looks like his side of the family.
He looks like an Ethiopian baby.
Really?
Yes, he does to me.
That's King.
And the next photo is Mr. Tidwell as a baby.
Look at the ear marks, the ear tags. There's nobody else.
Do you see a resemblance?
No.
If you placed a bet, you might want a refund.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tidwell, you are not his father.
This episode is wild from the start, and the drama is real. Miss Salvo is sure Mr. Gonzalez is the dad and says she was only with him, but he's like, nah, she was with my best friend too. Now they can't even agree on how many times they hooked up. She says once while drunk, but he says at least 6 times while engaged. Oh, and he got caught naked in her mom's kitchen, and she just said, wow.
You've only
started kissing. We started touching on each other. We went to the room. I was thirsty.
Did you use protection?
No, ma'am. I went to get something to drink in the kitchen. I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom was like, wow. Mom didn't get mad at me or nothing.
She admits she had a boyfriend at the time and thought he was the dad. But when she saw Amaya, she thought, nope, this baby looks Hispanic. But let's be real, a dimple isn't a paternity test, and she's about to take the mic.
When that baby was born, diapers, baby carrier, everything.
What? A crate, a crib.
A crib.
Her fiance, Miss Millender, says she's Amaya's real parent. She says, I feel like the daddy, but I don't even got the equipment. Now, it's time for the big reveal. This was one of the saddest things ever. Mrs. Watts tells the court how both of her sons were ambushed and eliminated. Just when you think things can't get worse, there's a whole other problem.
Mrs. Watts, you are here on behalf of your deceased son, Alex, who was tragically murdered just a few months ago. I'm very sorry for your loss. You stand here on his behalf because you doubt he fathered the defendant's 20-month-old son, Caden, and you have asked for a DNA test to determine the truth.
Losing her sons was bad enough. Now she has to wonder if Caden is really her grandson. She explains that Alex never fully claimed the baby, which makes her suspicious. Now she needs a DNA test to get the truth.
I was told that my son Alex had been taken to the hospital in critical condition. When I got to the hospital to see Alex, he had passed. He had died on arrival. My heart, this has been very difficult for me.
I am so very sorry. Where you have now had to live with the doubt as to whether or not this beautiful little boy, Caden, is in fact your grandchild.
Yes.
Ms. Cheryl is 100% sure Alex is the dad. She even shows a cute video of Alex and Caden together. But then the court digs into her past statements and things start looking sketchy.
The relationship was like a father and son bond relationship. They were like 2 peas in a pod. Alex loved Caden to death.
Yeah, because like you don't hear what I'm saying? You mad at me now? You want to annoy me? I don't care.
Mrs. Watts brings out a text where Ms. Cheryl admits she wasn't sure who the dad was. The courtroom reacts like they just saw a plot twist in a movie. And trust me, it only gets messier from here.
Alex is, and she said that she didn't know she needed a DNA test. She sent it to me in a text message.
Do you have that text message?
I do.
And you ask, question, are you pregnant by Alex? And Miss Cheryl responds, I don't really know, I don't believe so, but at this moment, I don't know, I have to get a blood test.
Caden's birth certificate doesn't even have Alex's name on it. On top of that, he doesn't even have Alex's last name. The judge and audience are side-eyeing Ms. Cheryl hard right now.
On the birth certificate, there is no father's name listed. Caden's last name is not your last name.
I gave him a friend of mine's last name only because I didn't want to give him a female's last name. When the time came for me and Alex to get a blood test, I told him we can go down to the court, and we can get his last name changed, no problem.
Alex's stepdad steps up and says Alex never mentioned Caden. He points out that Alex took a DNA test for his first daughter, but never did for Caden. The doubt just keeps growing.
If somebody got a child, they gonna say, well, this is my baby. Here, mama, look at my baby.
He never mentioned I have a baby on the way.
No, I just started seeing pictures like this. I'm like, well, he got a baby.
Alex has another daughter.
Yes.
Saying that this is my child.
Yes.
But Alex also got a blood test with his daughter also. They did get a blood test with her too.
Boom, the results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Lita Watts and Caden is 0.006%. You are not related.
This case was wild from the start. Mr. Jenkins says he found his long-lost daughter, but Ms. Bond is like, who is this man? The whole courtroom is already confused, and it only gets crazier.
Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hope to one day find her to prove you are her father. So we've located the woman you believe is your daughter, and she's here in court today.
Imagine some random guy showing up saying he's your dad. Yep, that's Ms. Bond's life today. She shows her birth certificate like a receipt. proving his name isn't on there. Jenkins, however, isn't backing down that easily.
So this is your birth certificate?
Yes.
Under father's legal name, nothing is recorded.
Your Honor.
But you were raised by a man that you believe, you were told was your biological father.
Yes, he died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
So, Ms. Bond, ultimately, you come to court today completely in the dark.
Yes.
Jenkins pulls out an old ultrasound pic like it's a VIP pass to fatherhood land. He says he went to doctor visits and saved the photo for 24 years. Ms. Bond looks at him like he just tried to sell her a time machine.
It's an ultrasound picture that I used to go to the hospital with her.
You did. So when you found out she was pregnant,
I was excited. I said, I got my first child. I got a girl.
So this is an ultrasound picture of Ms. Bond.
Yes.
That you've saved all these years.
Over 24 years, I've been saving that picture right there.
Ms. Bond shares that she's been struggling and feels completely alone. Her story is heartbreaking, and the whole room gets quiet. Jenkins sees her pain, but she still isn't sure about him.
I felt alone. You know, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anyone. I lost my mother and my father, and I didn't have anybody. I'm still struggling. I'm homeless. I'm trying to get my children, and I have no one on my side, and I just feel so alone. I feel like a part of me is really missing.
How many children do you have?
I have 2 sons.
There, Jenkins goes full movie dad mode and swears he's here now. He promises to love and support her, but she's still like, we'll see. The courtroom feels like a dramatic soap opera at this point.
Excuse me, Your Honor, she got me. You know, you don't have to worry about that. If I'm a man, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do. My job is to protect you and to love you, to show you how a man's supposed to treat you, you know.
I missed that growing up. I didn't have a father figure to tell me, you know, right from wrong. Today, I made a lot of wrong decisions because I didn't have anyone there.
Jenkins says he's been searching everywhere. Social media, phone numbers, knocking on doors. Ms. Bond is like, sir, how did you have my number and still not find me? Honestly, she's got a good point.
I used to go over one of your family members' house. I used to come over there every Christmas. I used to go there. Kept me out on the porch. Played crazy on me. Played like she didn't know who I was. I knocked on doors. I'd like to submit one more thing to the court.
I have a Facebook page. If you went for social media, you could have found me.
I did everything I could do. I've been looking for you over 24 years. That's one of your numbers that I have.
Jenkins says he lost touch again after her mom died, and the search restarted. Ms. Bond basically tells him, that's sad and all, but you could have tried harder. She's not wrong, and the tension is real.
I talked to her on the phone, and she said, in the next week or so, I'll let you see Andrea. I said, how she's doing? She's doing pretty good. A week later, I called her back at that number. Heard some bad news that she was in a bad car accident. Here we go again. Now it's starting all over again.
She got killed in the car accident. You could have came to the funeral. Still don't feel like you're my father. I'm sorry.
Judge Lake explains that since Jenkins isn't on the birth certificate, he had no legal rights to see her. So even if he wanted to, he couldn't just pop up like, surprise, I'm your dad. Now, it's time for the DNA test.
When you submitted your birth certificate to the court and under father, there was no name listed, because he was not listed, he doesn't have any rights to see you or to stake any claim to visit you, anything.
The room holds its breath as Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Jenkins, you are her father. Have you started that relationship?
No.
Well, why?
He's married, for number one.
Your Honor, Brooklyn got my last name.
I'm here trying to figure out what's
She all over the
holding
place,
back.
man. She
a whole wife.
Yeah. Oh, wife holding back. You bugging.
She sent a text message, a picture text message, which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me. It was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
Wait, what?
Your Honor, I told him that it was someone else. It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny it.
Judge Lake introduces Muhammad versus Walton, where Mr. Muhammad insists he's Brooklyn's dad, but Ms. Walton says nope. She admits she was seeing another guy almost daily during conception. This case isn't just messy, it's next level chaos.
Mr. Muhammad, you are here to prove that you are the father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Brooklyn. You claim the only reason she is denying paternity is because she wants to be in a relationship with the other man. And Ms. Walton, you say you were secretly cheating on Mr. Muhammad and had sex with the other man almost every day of the month.
Mr. Muhammad is convinced Brooklyn is his. Same face, same eyes, same vibe. He refuses to let another man raise his child. But before he can finish his proud speech, Ms. Walton is about to drop a major bomb.
I would never let another man raise my child. I was always raised to do the right thing, always raised to be a stand-up gentleman. You can look at Brooklyn now, see my face features, everything. I'm here today to prove today that I am the father.
And you say it's not his baby, Ms. Walton?
Yes, ma'am. I say that because during my conception day, I was having more sexual intercourse with the other guy than Mr. Muhammad.
Ms. Walton claims Mr. Muhammad was cheating first, so she did too, only way more. The audience gasps when she confesses she was seeing another man the entire time. But wait, Mr. Muhammad is about to lose it over one insane detail.
During that time, while he was having his affair, I was having my affair also. Well, baby, I wouldn't say we were together.
I wasn't having no affair. We was together. She told me that this gentleman was her cousin. I didn't think nothing of it.
It's not true, Your Honor. He's always known this guy.
I know.
Who was.
That's the other man that she wanted to be with.
Ms. Walton met the other guy at hotels while Mr. Muhammad thought she was at work. He calls her out saying, "You wasn't at no job." She fires back that she worked 2 jobs while pregnant and got no help. But things are about to get crazier.
Well, what happens is we was sneaking off to the hotel. I told him I was at work because during my pregnancy I was working 2 jobs. So Mr. Muhammad wouldn't even help me with anything.
She's cheating, Your Honor. Why should she think she at work? She's cheating.
Were you still intimate with Mr. Muhammad during that time as well?
Yes, I was.
All right.
Wow.
So you were sleeping with them both?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Muhammad checked her phone while she was asleep. Bad for her. Jackpot for him. He found texts and pictures confirming the affair. Worst part? The messages revealed she was pregnant.
What happened was I came home, she sleep, looked at her phone, I started seeing a full-fledged text messages about having sex, all that stuff. Y'all having a full relationship.
So you had
I had no idea about this man. She told me in the beginning that was a cousin. I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking it's a family member. You stop having sex with me.
Ms. Walton told the other guy about the baby before she told Mr. Muhammad. Imagine finding out your child exists through text to another man. He didn't even hear it from her. His family told him first.
Took the cell phone and he had confronted me about the text message and he had asked me, well, whose child is it? And I told him, I said, it's his child. It's not yours.
My recollection of it is that I'm thinking that the baby's mom. We already had one child together. Like I said, we was in a relationship, and I'm thinking I'm the only one that she sees from. I did not know nothing about the gentleman. If you look at Brooklyn and look at me, we look alike, similar alike. Everything is alike.
Mr. Muhammad swears Brooklyn was conceived February 21st at his mom's house, down to the sink. Ms. Walton says it was February 5th at her place. Problem? She was with both men that whole week.
The date was February 21st in my mama's house, in the bathroom. She was in the mood. She go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom after. That's the date that we have Brooklyn.
Do you remember this day, Ms. Walton?
On the sink.
Your Honor, I remember us having sex at my house, not his mother's house.
That you conceived your daughter, Brooklyn, in your mother's bathroom on the sink.
Yes, ma'am.
She straight up admits she hopes Brooklyn belongs to the other guy because he'd be a better dad. Mr. Muhammad is shook. Turns out the other man wanted a paternity test too.
She want this baby to be his. Like I said, I know the baby. First time I held Brooklyn, I didn't get to see Brooklyn until she was 6 months old. First time I held Brooklyn, I already know that she's mine. It's certain characteristics that's mine.
That's the day she was born.
I didn't even get to see that. I didn't get to see none of that.
And did you tell this other guy I'm pregnant?
Yes, I told the other guy I was pregnant.
Never told me nothing.
But you didn't tell Mr. Muhammad?
No.
I told Mr. Muhammad after I confirmed it with the doctor.
Mr. Muhammad swears Brooklyn looks just like him. He even pulls out pictures for proof. Judge Lake shuts it down saying, "We don't do DNA tests with our eyes." But the biggest shocker is coming.
Brooklyn looks like my oldest daughter. If you look at them 2 girls right there, that's alike. That's my first daughter right there. She full. My babies right there. Look at me and look at them. No, my babies right there.
Yeah, they may be your babies, but I'm taking care of them.
Oh, I take care of them too.
No, you do not.
Too. I ask you all the time.
Listen.
Plot twist, the other guy is married. The courtroom loses it. Judge Lake sarcastically points out why he isn't stepping up. Mr. Muhammad is completely done.
Have you started that relationship?
No.
Well, why?
He's married, for number 1.
Your Honor, Brooklyn got my last name.
I'm here trying to figure out what's
she all over the place.
Back.
She
a whole wife.
Yeah. Whole wife holding back. You bugging.
Judge Lake opens the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Muhammad, you are the father.
Yes. I know what I'm talking about, baby. I know what I'm talking about.
This case is a mess from the start. Ms. Palmer is furious because Mr. Ross denies being the father of her baby, Jace. Mr. Ross insists she's after his money, but the relationship history is even wilder.
You opened today's case because the defendant is denying he fathered your 3-month-old son. You recently met your own father for the first time and refused to have your son grow up without his father like you did. You say pinning her child on you because you have money and you are in court to prove once and for all, you are not her child's father.
They went from strangers to lovers in 24 hours. Mr. Ross claims they always used protection, but Ms. Palmer calls that a lie. He wanted a real relationship, but she wasn't ready, making the baby timeline extra messy.
Your Honor, first of all, we used condoms every time we had sex.
We never used condoms, Your Honor.
He's denying your child, as we can see, Ms. Palmer. You're raising the child alone.
Yes, Your Honor.
With absolutely no help from Mr. Ross. Jace is 3 months old. You're denying that this baby is yours, Mr. Ross, because you say you use condoms throughout the relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the nature of this relationship?
We were just friends with benefits, Your Honor.
The math isn't adding up. Ms. Palmer says she only slept with Mr. Ross when she conceived, but she met him the day before. She's sure he's the dad, but his next revelation changes everything.
I met someone before him, and then it's just like when I started talking to him, it was just only him. But the month before,
Your Honor,
it
she
was
told me
someone
she
else.
was talking to somebody.
I was talking to someone the previous month, yes. But the month that I met him, no.
Did you find out you were pregnant?
And I was telling my friend, I said, something's not right. And she told me to come over, and we're gonna do a pregnancy test. We went to the store, we purchased 4 pregnancy tests. I took 2, both of them came back positive.
Ms. Palmer accidentally sent her positive pregnancy test to Mr. Ross, then said, oops, not for you. She admits she thought another man was the father first. Mr. Ross sees this as proof she was guessing who the dad was.
She sent a text message, a picture text message, which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me, it was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
Wait, what?
Your Honor, I told him that it was someone else.
Accidentally send this pregnancy test to Mr. Ross, but you thought you were sending it to the other guy?
It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny it.
She already tested another guy. He wasn't the dad. As soon as she got the result, she asked Mr. Ross to take a test, which he refused. Despite denying the baby, he was still texting her about being a father.
In the beginning of August, me and the alleged father, we got a DNA test. And the results came back. I immediately contacted Mr. Ross.
And what did you say when you reached out to him?
I asked him to do a DNA test for me. He told me that he was not the father, and then it's just like got to the point where he wanted to, he started claiming my son, sending pictures, everything. Made the statement of he would help me buy a car seat.
Ms. Palmer swears Jace looks like Mr. Ross. He argues the baby doesn't have good hair, but Judge Lake shuts that down. With looks proving nothing, Ms. Palmer brings up child support.
I mean, it's obvious my son looked like you. My son has the same lips, the same eyes. My son has short limbs. I'm tall, obviously, Your Honor.
Yeah.
He even told me that my son is not his son because my son doesn't have good hair.
We know babies come in all shapes, sizes, and colors with all different textures of hair and everything else, and we don't talk about everything about this baby is innocent and good.
She demands a DNA test or child support. His choice. Mr. Ross refuses to pay for a test, saying they should have done it at the hospital. Judge Lake reminds them both they handled things poorly.
Before I even send you any kind of money, you're gonna have to get a DNA test in because I'm not finna just give you no money.
He told me he was not gonna pay for one.
Because that's the case, she could have just told me I was the father when she thought the other guy was, and we wouldn't have to do that. We had to do it at the hospital. First thing she told me, she said, well, I'm gonna put you on child support. I know how to handle this.
I mean, I do.
You tell me.
Why should I continue to make you or anything like that to take care of your son?
Mr. Ross claims another possible father is his cousin's friend. Ms. Palmer denies cheating, insisting there were only 2 men. None of it matters now. The DNA results are in.
Yeah, and she was messing around with more guys because the guy she thought was her father, he actually is my cousin's friend, and I actually know the guy.
I didn't know they knew each other.
He told me I wasn't.
He didn't tell him anything because once I got my DNA test, that was it. I was not cheating on him.
And it wasn't with me. He told me, he was like, are you the father of Jessica Child? I said, no. He said, well, I'm not either because I took the DNA test.
Judge Lake reveals the truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ross, you are the father.
Mr. Fisher had no idea he was signing up for an emotional roller coaster. He unknowingly signed Sophia's birth certificate, thinking all was good. A month later, bam, Ms. Doyle admits she cheated, leaving him heartbroken, but still deeply loving Sophia.
Mr. Fisher, you claim you made the biggest mistake of your life by signing the birth certificate for 2-month-old Sophia. You say your fiance dropped a bomb on you just 1 month ago and admitted you may not be her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think it can't get worse, Ms. Doyle explains, she confesses but hopes Mr. Fisher is still the dad. She praises him for being the perfect boyfriend, but their relationship is hanging by a thread.
Ms. Doyle?
I think that he is the father. I know 100%. I mean, he was there through the whole pregnancy. He does everything for me. He works. He supports our family. He runs my baths. He cooks my food. He rubs my back and rubs my feet. He's a great father, very loving. He's a very loving father and a very loving fiance.
Their love story started like a fairy tale, but crashed hard. Mr. Fisher recalls falling for Ms. Doyle's beauty and kindness. It was perfect, until the ultimate betrayal shattered everything.
When me and one of her family members met, we became best friends. Like, we was close like this. He took me around her, and I just fell for her. And ever since then, I've loved her. She's beautiful. Her eyes, amazing. Her body, she's gorgeous. And she treats me like a man wanted to be treated, all the way up until this happened.
Things go from bad to, what were you thinking? Ms. Doyle cheats because of a false rumor about Mr. Fisher. Instead of asking, she hooks up with a random guy. Turns out the rumor was a total lie.
I was on vacation with one of his family members in Florida, and another one of his family members that he was with at the time had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt. A guy walked up to me. Do you want to go to my camper and talk? So I go back to his camper with him, and we talked about it, and then one thing led to another. He kissed me, and then we had sex.
Carrying a baby while hiding a massive secret? Yikes. Ms. Doyle panics when she sees the positive test. She lets Mr. Fisher celebrate, pretending everything's fine, while guilt eats her alive.
The day that I found out she was pregnant, she had threw up like 3 or 4 times because she was feeling sick. We purchased the pregnancy tests, went back to the house. She took them. One had a faint line, and then one had both lines. And I was happy. That was the best day of my life.
Mr. Fisher, clueless, decides to propose. Ms. Doyle's inner voice screams, "Tell him!" But she says nothing. She smiles, takes the ring, and the secret stays buried.
I told her, I went to work that day, and I was thinking about proposing to her because I love her. She's my world. I got home that day. I had the ring in my pocket. I told her how I felt. I said, I love you. You're my world. You're everything I've ever wanted. I want to take this family to a whole nother level. Will you marry me? And she said yes.
The best day turns messy. Mr. Fisher cheers Ms. Doyle on, signs the birth certificate, and beams with pride. Meanwhile, she's silently panicking, knowing the truth will come out soon.
When she was giving birth, I held her hand. I felt like I was the dad, which at the time, I kept telling her, push, push. I want to see my baby. And afterwards, I signed the birth certificate and everything because I thought it was my baby. We stayed there for 3 days. Those 3 days were the most important, amazing, wonderful thing that I have ever felt in my life.
Reality hits when Ms. Doyle admits the timeline doesn't add up. A court calendar proves the baby might not be his. Mr. Fisher stares at it in disbelief, and then he does the unexpected.
Sophia was born on January 15th. You took vacation April 21st to May 1st, and that's the window of time in which you cheated.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you calculate it, the window of conception would be between April 19th to April 26th for a child born on January 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Instead of walking away, Mr. Fisher says, I love you and Sophia, no matter what. Ms. Doyle breaks down, knowing she doesn't deserve his kindness. Then, the DNA results arrive.
I'm sorry that it happened, and if she's yours, then I hope that...
Let me tell you this. You ain't got to be guilty about it no more. I know about it, and I know you're sorry. Just don't hold it on me no more. That's my baby no matter what, and you're my wife. I love you.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fisher, you are the father.
Oh boy, this one is a hot mess. Judge Lake introduces Lima V.D. Scott and Anderson. Ms. Lima claims Mr. Anderson is the father, but he, a married man, says nope. His whole marriage is on the edge, and that thread is snapping fast.
Ms. Lima, you admit to making a huge mistake and hope it doesn't affect your baby Christina. You had an affair with Mr. Anderson, who is married, and believe he's your daughter's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson, you say your whole life is on the line, and your marriage, and you're hoping you're not the father today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lima met Mr. Anderson on Facebook, chatted for a year, then, boom, dinner and hotel. Just like that, things happened. The audience gasps, but oh, this is only the beginning of the chaos.
Your Honor, it all started from a Facebook message when Mr. Anderson was messaging me on Facebook. So we started being friends online for about 1.5 years. Then out of the blue one day, he called me and said, let's go out for dinner. So I was like, hey, well, I'm not doing anything, so why not? We went out to dinner and we got a hotel room that night. We had sex.
Your Honor.
Ms. Anderson finds out when she messages Ms. Lima. She asks who she is, and Ms. Lima confidently responds, "I'm his girlfriend." Then Ms. Anderson drops the bomb. "I'm his wife of 10 years. The audience losing it.
A few minutes later, his Miss Anderson, she inboxed me and say, like, who are you? So, I said, I'm his girlfriend of a year, so who are you? I'm his wife of 10 years,
Really?
Yes. No, I did not know he married. He did not show any signs of marriage or anything.
Was this true?
I'm just sorry, Your Honor. I just want to say I'm sorry to my wife and my family and my kids.
Mr. Anderson gives the worst excuse ever. He cheated because of an argument. Brother, instead of apologizing, he picked cheating? This man needs serious decision-making skills.
Me and my wife, we had a bad, argument. I decided to go out and take Miss Lima out one night. And me and her went out to, the hotel. I brought her roses and, we had sex that night.
Is Miss Lima's assertion that this went on, she told your wife she was your girlfriend for a year?
Well,
that's not one night.
Mr. Anderson swears it was one night, but Ms. Lima laughs. She says it was every weekend for 2 years. Then she describes his house. Ms. Anderson's face, pure rage.
You say this only happened this one night.
It was a one-night stand.
You never saw her again. How often would you see Mr. Anderson?
We've seen each other for 2 years, every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays.
Was it strange to you that you only saw him on Saturdays and Sundays, or you thought he was working during the week?
Not really, because I went to his house numerous of times.
Excuse me. You went to his house numerous times?
Yes.
Just when you think it can't get worse, boom. Ms. Lima says she was with another guy too. No protection. Now we've got another possible baby daddy. The courtroom, a soap opera set.
I went to Mr. Anderson at first. I went to his family at first. I couldn't contact him, so I went to his family and I got rejected by them. So I was like, well, that really hurted me. So I was just like, well, let me move.
So you did sleep with another man during the window of conception during that time?
Correct.
And you were sleeping with both men without protection?
Well, I got in touch with him later. We met up and we had sex again when I was around 4 months pregnant.
Ms. Anderson listens to all of this and looks done. She reminds everyone, 5 kids, 5, and now she's dealing with this mess? I'd be packing my bags immediately.
Once we messaged each other, I asked her for her phone number because I want to talk on the phone. And when she was telling me the things that she was telling me, my whole world it caved in. Like, are you serious? This
because
is my
you all have
husband.
built a lot together.
A business. We've been through a lot, Your Honor. And just think
children?
5.
Now, meet contestant number 2, Mr. Scott. He met Ms. Lima at a gas station, of course, and thought she was his girlfriend. Then he found out about Mr. Anderson. He looks like he wants to disappear.
During the time she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Anderson, so you could possibly be this child's father.
Well, the situation was when I first met Mrs. Lima, we met at a gas station. Come February, I took her flowers to a job site, took her out to eat on Valentine's Day, and then in March we had a sexual intercourse.
Mr. Scott wasn't sure if the baby was his. He thought she looked like him, but didn't want to get attached. At this point, everyone's just waiting for that DNA test.
Have you met the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have? Do you come visit her regularly?
No.
Why?
Because I have doubt in my mind that she may or may not be mine, Your Honor.
Look at her, do you see a resemblance?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Lima, when you look at your child, do you feel like she looks like one man or the other?
Mr. Anderson has a child that she looks exactly like, the way her eyes
You know what his kids look like?
Yes.
It gets worse. Ms. Lima met Mr. Anderson's kids. He brought them along to meet her. Ms. Anderson looks like she's about to throw a chair. And honestly, who could blame her?
He bring the kids around me, when we meet up and when he give me money, he'll bring the kids.
Give her money? Are you serious?
That is not.
That's how you feel?
He bring the kids with them?
Yes. I'm not sure who they thought I was.
That's how you feel? Who is she? They auntie?
That's not.
What are your hopes today, Ms. Lima? Do you want this to be your child father?
Yes.
Or do you want this to be your child?
No, you don't.
Father. He's more.
You want the baby dad to be the baby dad, and it's not him.
No.
Judge Lake opens the envelope. BAM.
Is the father of 1-year-old Christina. Mr. Scott, you are not her father.
You just stay right here.
This case had everyone hooked from the start, like a reality show gone wild. Ms. Hawthorne storms in, accusing Mr. Brown of ghosting her after getting her pregnant. Mr. Brown fires back, calling her a liar who's trying to trap him. The way they're arguing, you just know it's about to get messy.
You are here today because you say your high school sweetheart is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby. Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Hawthorne is a desperate liar who will say and do anything in order
order to have a family with you. You claim there is no way you could have fathered her child.
Just when things seem calmer, the long-distance drama kicks in. Ms. Hawthorne says they met online in high school, and she was loyal until he started seeing other girls. Mr. Brown shrugs, saying staying faithful from different cities was too hard. Judge Lake's face says it all. That excuse won't work here.
So you went to high school together?
No, we were separate. He's in Chicago and I'm in the suburb. We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other. And
but it
so
was during when you were in high school.
Right, and so we were dating online, but it actually took a year after we started seeing each other because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Pure chaos unfolds. Mr. Brown insists they only hooked up once in August 2014. Ms. Hawthorne shuts that down, saying they were together in December 2015 when Chase was conceived. Then he drops the ultimate weak excuse. He didn't finish, so he can't be the dad. The audience erupts and Judge Lake looks ready to lose it.
Your Honor, we only had sex one time, and that was in 2014 in August.
Chase is 2 years old, so clearly it did go on and on past one sexual encounter. So what happened where you all reconnected during the period of time when Chase could have potentially been conceived?
It was in December 9th, 2015.
Mr. Brown flips the script, saying she had a boyfriend and can't be sure Chase is his. Ms. Hawthorne shuts that down, insisting she only had a male roommate. Judge Lake isn't buying it and asks the real question. You lived with a man and nothing happened? Mr. Brown shakes his head in disbelief.
Your Honor, she had a boyfriend at the time.
I did not. Me and this guy, we were roommates. We decided in June of 2015 to move in together.
You're gonna move in with someone and not have sex with them.
Yes.
A male being is not gonna try anything with you.
No,
to have sex.
Not if he's just a friend. Not if we've never had that type of relationship.
Mr. Brown's got excuses for days. Ms. Hawthorne says he's only seen Chase 4 times in 2 years. He claims he felt trapped because she waited 14 weeks to tell him. Judge Lake isn't having it. Sir, you trapped yourself in the backseat of that car. The audience loses it.
Now Chase, 2 years old, you say Mr. Brown hasn't been a part of his life at all.
Not at all. He's only seen him 4 times.
Your Honor, I feel trapped in the situation because first off, you didn't let me know that you was pregnant until 14 weeks later.
So you trapped yourself in the backseat of the car when you really should have come and broke up with her, but instead you decide to have sex with her. When you in simple mode, you get simple results.
Ms. Hawthorne's mom pulls out text receipts. In one, he talks about Christmas presents for Chase. Judge Lake reads them aloud, and the courtroom reacts. So now you're buying gifts for a baby that's not yours? Mr. Brown backpedals, blaming his grandma's advice. His argument crumbles.
You submitted those texts to the court. You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserved. Things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born. He will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me.
The room is silent. Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This courtroom is about to go off the rails, and we're only 5 seconds in. Judge Lake kicks things off with the case of Greer versus Thompson and Tolles. Ms. Greer drops a bomb right away. She cheated on Mr. Thompson on purpose just to get revenge. Now she's standing here confused about who her baby's father is. If that's not messy enough, just wait, because things only get crazier from here.
You are the mother of 1-year-old Lanaya. You say you regret cheating on the defendant, Mr. Thompson, as an act of revenge to hurt him.
This might be the pettiest revenge plan ever. Not only was he there for the birth, but he...
Okay, that's my ex-boyfriend, so...
Baby father.
Okay, so you see this picture posted with true love by it.
Reads the DNA results. Everyone in the courtroom holds their breath. Get ready for the biggest shock of the day.
It has been determined by this court
between me and the other girl, and then moving all the way to Alabama with the girl. But he wanted to talk about one time when he had kids and they were looking for me. They were looking for you all the time. While he was doing all that research trying to figure out who I was talking to, he failed to tell anybody that he was engaged to this girl.
What?
While he was still married.
Why would you put me on child support if I'm supporting my child already?
You help diapers here and there. I've been doing it since day one, Tony, so don't try that.
You have been coming around lately because...
Why? Because she keeps moving and people get tired reaching out. Here.
She has reached out to you plenty of times.
This Villa is a serial cheater who's dodged a DNA. Mr. Carr is the father. If you think that's messy, just wait. It's about to get worse than a toddler.
You and a DNA test for 3 years.
From a Facebook message to a paternity lawsuit, things escalated fast. fast. Mr. Carr calls Ms. Villa started as a
No, Your Honor.
We want to do this?
The problem was I couldn't get rid of her, Your Honor.
Things go from bad to worse fast. Ms. Villa proudly says she always admitted when she cheated, as if that helps. Mr. Carr insists on you.
I told him each time he would let me leave, and I would come back and I let him know that I did it. And he still took me back.
And what would you let him know, Miss Villa?
That I messed around with the person I left with.
No, Your Honor. She cheated 8 different times with 8 different people.
8 different times with
Yes,
8
ma'am.
different people?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the beginning, no.
Hold on.
Math lovers, prepare to be confused. Mr. Carr says Ms. Villa told him she was pregnant 3 days after they hooked up. He swears the dates don't add up. Ms. Villa is certain the baby was conceived in the backseat of a car while his friend was driving. Yes, really. Then, the argument shifts to the baby's due date.
The times of conception was she slept with a man on the 31st of January.
Tony,
Me and
she
her
was-
slept together on February the 14th. 3 days later, the 17th, she tells me that she's pregnant. I'm like, how are you pregnant?
Tony, you're a liar.
So you
You're a
have
liar.
sex 3 days later and she tells you, now I'm pregnant.
Yes.
So you thinking like, how do you know you pregnant 3 days after we just have sex?
Exactly.
Now it's science time, and it's more confusing than a pop quiz. Mr. Carr insists the Halloween birth date means the baby belongs to the other guy. Ms. Villa swears she was born early, making Mr. Carr the father. Judge Lake just nods like, y'all need a calendar.
If you have your child on October the 31st, that means that it is the other man's
You're a
child.
liar. Trinity
Because
was
that's
due
exactly 9
November
months.
21st. I had her 3 weeks early.
So you're saying the conception window is off, Miss Villa, because since Trinity was born early, you technically would have had a due date of 3 weeks later than
Yes,
that.
she was due November 21st of 2015. I had her October 31st.
From yelling to crying, Mr. Carr says he's been raising a child who might not be his. He loves her but fears the truth. Ms. Villa tells him he didn't have to stay. Bad timing. Just when emotions hit their peak, Mr. Carr reveals all the times he tried to get a DNA test.
Do you have a relationship with her?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm with her every day of the week, just about. I play my role as a father. No matter what it is, no matter how much pain, I still treat her like she's my own child.
And that hurts you.
Because I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve to go through what I went through.
But you kept taking me back.
Ms. Villa dodging a DNA test could be an Olympic sport. Mr. Carr shows proof of her moving cities every time he tried. She claims she moved for the baby, which makes no sense. Then, her best friend jumps in and spills the real tea.
So you say she's been running away from a DNA test.
I was in Alabama. She was in Tampa, Florida. I tried to hook the cases together. As soon as she received the letter, she moves from Tampa, Florida to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. That's when we stayed together for the little bit that we did. From Decatur, Alabama, she moves from Decatur to Chicago, Illinois.
And boom, everything falls apart. Ms. Villa's best friend admits she had a one-night stand during conception time. The courtroom gasps. Judge Lake gives her the "you did not just lie" look. Ms. Villa scrambles for an excuse, but now everyone just wants those DNA results.
A couple of times she's complained to me that he has not been wanting it.
Why would you put me on child support if I'm supporting my child already?
You help diapers here and there. I've been doing it since day one, Tony, so don't try that.
You
have been coming around lately because
why? Because she keeps moving and people get tired reaching out. Here.
She has reached out to you plenty of times.
You could hear a pin drop. Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Carr, you are the father.
This case was wild before it even began. Mr. Thompson walked in, hoping to save his 11-year marriage, but things already looked bad. Doubting if newborn Micah was his, he wanted a DNA test, while Mrs. Pate Thompson prayed he was the father, because otherwise things would get messy.
Mr. Thompson, you are in court today in hopes of saving your 11-year marriage. Your wife has a newborn, 4-month-old Micah Pate Thompson, who you hope is your baby, but say your doubts are overwhelming.
Yes, Your Honor.
Their marriage was beyond rocky. More like a crumbling sandcastle. They hadn't shared a room in months, and Mr. Thompson complained about her not cooking, cleaning, or working. Despite the chaos, he still wanted to be Micah's dad, but the doubt was eating him alive.
The current status of our relationship is it's rocky. We don't sleep in the same bedroom. We haven't slept in the same bedroom in years. We haven't had sex probably in about 7-8 months. She don't like to cook, she don't like to clean, she don't like to work. It's a lot going on, other than Micah. So every marriage is not perfect, but it's a lot going on.
Their love story and marriage. It started like a rom-com, but turned into a reality TV disaster. They met in college, and after an unexpected pregnancy, his mom suggested they marry. Their chaotic wedding involved nachos, drinks, and a quick counseling session. It wasn't happily ever after, but definitely what just happened.
We met in college. We had a class together, and he sat behind me, cracking jokes, trying to copy off my test. Next thing you know, we were talking and we were together in a relationship. You couldn't see him without seeing me.
Mr. Thompson, you met and you were very happy together.
Yes, ma'am.
You decided to get married.
She ended up eventually moving in with me and my family.
First signs of infidelity, if red flags were alarms, theirs would be deafening. Mr. Thompson caught her texting other men and started DNA testing their kids. He felt like he was in a never-ending episode of Are You the Father? And sadly, the drama was just beginning.
What went wrong was when me and LaToya first started getting into marriage and stuff like that, I had found out she was doing some things that she shouldn't have been doing. Text messaging, meeting up with guys and stuff like that. So when I confronted her, she said it wasn't true. Found out otherwise. I had to get DNA tests on my first 2 boys by her. We married, but every time, while we're in a marriage, and every time you get pregnant, I gotta get a DNA test.
Separation and moving on, their break only made things worse. Mr. Thompson moved out while Mrs. Pate Thompson made new online friends, like a full-time job. Meanwhile, he stalked her social media like a detective, and what he found was jaw-dropping.
When I left, she said she was gonna work on herself. Me and her had ample
While he was
conversations
with somebody else.
about her working on herself because she deleted me off social media. I found out she started adding all these other dudes to her social media page.
Because you were gone, you were living with somebody else.
She didn't want to move on. She said she was gonna work on.
Were you all planning to get a divorce?
Nah.
Yes.
When she said she had a job interview in Atlanta, Mr. Thompson wasn't buying it. She ignored his calls, and when she finally confessed the truth, it was exactly what he suspected, and then some.
So she goes to Atlanta. Me and my other 2 boys, we went out, dinner, movie, we out hanging out. She called me, I missed the call. Called her back, she didn't answer, I'm texting her. She was texting, but she not calling. She said she in a job interview. It don't make no sense. Why are you texting me in a job interview, but you can't pick your phone up? She was like, well, we went out, and my friend took my phone, and she said, we out, so you don't need to be on the phone. I'm like, man, you married, you got kids, and what woman gonna tell you some trash like that?
A second trip to Atlanta and more doubts. The second trip had him in full investigator mode. He checked phone records and found a mystery Atlanta number. Turns out it was a guy. Her explanation, as believable as a cat denying it knocked over a cup.
Oh, back to Atlanta the second time. So I was like, okay, once again, I know what you're going to do. So I was like, let me go ahead and let you go so I can compile me a little bit of evidence. In the email, there's nothing in there. One Atlanta phone number that keep popping up. And I researched phone number and it's coming back to a gentleman. So when she finally called me, so what you out there doing? I was like, so I'm looking at the phone bill and this one Atlanta number keep popping up and it's from a male. She was like, one of my friends. Yeah, it's a male.
Plot twist. He wasn't so innocent either. Mrs. Pate Thompson revealed he was engaged to another woman. He tried to deny it, then straight up admitted it. If bad decisions were a sport, they'd both win gold.
Between me and the other girl, and then moving all the way to Alabama with the girl. But he wanted to talk about one time when he had kids and they were looking for me. They were looking for you all the time. While he was doing all that research trying to figure out who I was talking to, he failed to tell anybody that he was engaged to this girl.
What?
While he was still married.
Turns out, Mrs. Pate Thompson first told another guy he was Micah's dad. Mr. Thompson remembered sleeping with her once during that time, but was too drunk to be sure. The question remained, was Micah really his?
The point when you found out you were pregnant with Micah.
The first person I told was the other guy. The timeline and the way, the conception and everything, I was thinking it was the other guy because I wasn't with Marcus at the time.
We had sex one time in that time frame. I don't know if it was before the first time she went to Atlanta or when she came back, but she said it was another time. I don't know. I was drunk anyway, so I don't know which time it was.
Despite everything, Mr. Thompson tried to be there for Micah. He missed the birth due to work, but later stepped up as a father. However, he never signed the birth certificate. His doubts were too strong.
It was a struggle for me to even get her to let me come to a doctor's appointment. And she was just like, I didn't think you want to go because of the situation. At the end of the day, I'm a man before anything, and if I'm going to be that boy's father, I don't want to miss out on nothing. I missed the birth of the baby because I was out of town for work. You know, I went straight to the hospital. I was watching the baby, you know, doing all types. The only thing I didn't do was sign the birth certificate.
The results were in, and the courtroom held its breath.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Thompson, you are not the father.
Okay, so this one was wild right from the start. The case of Lyde versus Ellis is introduced, and right away we find out Danielle Lyde has believed for 26 years that Mr. Ellis is her dad. But Mr. Ellis? Nope, he says that's impossible. Claims her mom was out partying and cheating. The way this man is so confident, oh, he's in for a big surprise.
Ms. Lyde, you say that for 26 years you have known only one man, the defendant, Mr. Ellis, to be your biological father, and you're devastated that he is claiming you're not his. You say that Ms. Lyde's mother was unfaithful during your 7-year relationship and that you are certain you are not Ms. Lyde's biological father.
Oh man, this part was straight up heartbreaking. Danielle Lyde talks about how rough her childhood was. No dad, bouncing between foster homes, no male role model at all. She says it was tough, and honestly, you could feel the hurt in her voice. But before you can even start to feel too bad, Mr. Ellis comes in with some next-level nonsense.
I didn't really have a relationship with Mr. Ellis. Growing up, it was just me and my mom. I've been in and out of group homes, foster homes, no male role model in my life. It's been hard. I had a long, hard life growing up.
When you hear her talk about her life without you.
Now, this was the moment where everyone watching just collectively sighed. Mr. Ellis says he doesn't believe Danielle is his daughter because she's too light-skinned for him to be the dad. He also says her mom was disappearing for weeks at a time, so obviously she must have been with other men. Oh, buddy, the logic here is as thin as a single piece of toilet paper.
I'm not her father. I mean, her mother, she disappears weeks at a time, out there partying. Look bright as she is. I mean, I ain't no doctor or nothing, but I'm pretty sure two people this color ain't gonna make no baby this bright-skinned. I mean, she was practically white.
I don't feel like that's correct because my son was white with black hair and blue eyes. I'm not white. I don't have blue eyes.
At this point, we enter full-on mystery mode. Mr. Ellis claims there was already a DNA test done years ago, and according to him, the results were crystal clear, 99.9% not the father. So naturally, he stopped paying child support and moved on with his life. But hold up, because here comes a huge twist that makes this whole situation even messier.
When I was away, her mother called child support on me. They came and took the DNA test.
You got the results back?
I got the results back. It was 99.9 that I wasn't the father. So I showed her the paperwork.
So wouldn't you want to keep some kind of information or record so if I did grow up and I had questions,
no, I
would
not.
Hey,
I would not want to keep that kind of information.
If you thought this was just a simple case of he said, she said, get ready to upgrade to he said, and she said something completely different. Ms. Lyde's mom steps up and says, yeah, we did a DNA test and it said yes, he's the father. Wait, what? Two completely opposite DNA results? Somebody's lying, somebody's confused, or the universe just decided to mess with this family.
A DNA test was performed, yes or no?
Yes.
What were the results?
They said in the court 99% yes.
That 99.9% that yes, he was Danielle's biological father.
Yes,
Thank you so much. That's what I wanted to know. You may be seated.
At this point, the whole courtroom was sitting up straight, watching this go down like it was a Netflix drama. Ms. Lyde is fed up. She's mad at her mom, mad at Mr. Ellis, mad at the whole situation. She talks about how not having a dad made her make bad choices in life. And honestly, you just want to give her a hug. But before the tears could even dry, things got even more awkward.
I don't look like most of the people on my mom's side of the family, so I know there has to be some kind of connection. People do things in life that is unexplainable. Me, I look at myself and I love myself. I look at myself in the mirror every day and I appreciate myself. If another human being on this earth don't want to accept me for who I am, that's not going to stop me from loving me for who I am.
You ever hear someone talk about their life and just think, dang, this person has been through it? That's what this moment was. Danielle explains how not having a father made her struggle with self-worth and relationships. She says she never had that dad to guide her and help her know what a good man looks like. And if you thought the drama was over, nope. Now enters Grandma Ellis with some things to say.
I feel like if I had a male role model, you know, I wouldn't have to go out there and experience things I experienced looking for love in a man. Like, I should have had that firm man connection bond to where I know what to look in a man. Being with your dad, father-daughter dances, you know, just having that role model I can call on when I'm going through something, or just an extra shoulder and support to cry on.
This was the part where you just wanted to yell, oh, come on now. Mr. Ellis's mom, aka Grandma Ellis, takes the stand and says she never believed Danielle was her granddaughter. Why? Because when she saw baby Danielle, she was too big and looked 4 months old at just 1 month. Oh, and also, some neighbor told her something about Danielle having a brother. Yeah, because obviously neighbors are the most reliable DNA testers, right?
When I first saw the baby at a month old, she looked 4 months old. And from what I had heard from my son, her father's a great big man. What I heard from my neighbor, she has a little brother that she and the little brother were like twins, and the grandmother, Miss Lyde Seniors, brought the baby over in the house behind mine every day for a week.
Just when you thought things couldn't get pettier, this happens. Danielle brings up a moment from when she was 10, saying she ran into Grandma Ellis on a trolley and introduced herself. And what did Grandma say? Get out of my face or I'll smack you. Oh, the audience gasps. But Grandma swears she never said that. It was a real somebody's lying. But who moment?
I was 10. I want to introduce myself like, you know, I'm Mr. Ellis's daughter. On my face or I will smack you.
What? She's lying. This little girl slid up, teenager. She said, Hi. I said, hello. Do you know me? I said, no. Should I? I'm your granddaughter. I said, no, you're not. I said, I know who her daddy is, and you're not gonna put that on my son. And they're both lying.
At this point, even Judge Lake was like, all right, what the heck is going on here? She lays it out. Danielle has been told her whole life that Mr. Ellis is her dad, but he says he has proof that he isn't. Yet nobody has actually seen this proof. It's like a detective movie, but with way more yelling and family drama. And finally, we're about to get some real answers.
Her point is she's been told her whole life you are her biological father. You say you had proof that she was not. End of the day, Mr. Ellis, you're saying that she's 99.9% not your biological daughter. And Ms. Lyde, you're saying he's 99.9% your father. And that's where the mystery is.
Because I'm 99.99% lost and confused.
A lawyer steps in to try and explain how something this messy even happens. Turns out, child support cases can be super confusing, and sometimes the system straight up messes up, like, oops, we told you to pay for a kid that's not yours. Our bad. The expert basically says, yeah, it's possible that a mistake was made here. Oh, and speaking of mistakes, we're about to find out if Mr. Ellis made a big one.
As a family attorney for the last 17 years, stranger things have happened in family court. Child support is not for the mother to waive. So even if Mrs. Lyde's mom said, you know, we're on good terms, I'll waive it. You can't do that because the Department of Child Support Services is there and they're involved. And they're gonna enforce the order if, in fact, the father is the father and there's enough income to enforce this order.
You could feel the tension through the screen at this moment. Judge Lake pulls out the envelope. Everyone holds their breath. And then, boom, the DNA test says,
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Ellis, you are the father.
Whoa! I knew it! Yes! Boom! Ha!
Buckle up, folks. This case is about to take us on a wild ride. The judge announces Luttrell vs. Leaks, and Ms. Luttrell is here to find out who her real dad is. She hopes DNA will confirm it, but something tells me it won't be that easy.
Ms. Luttrell, you filed your case because you say after a lifetime of confusion of not knowing who your biological father is and receiving no help from your mother, you are now hopeful because you believe you have finally found your dad.
Imagine meeting your dad for the first time. Crazy, right? Ms. Luttrell confirms she's never met Mr. Leaks. The judge asks if she's ready, and she nervously says yes. You can almost hear the dramatic music.
Yes, I believe that I found him because I did a DNA test through Ancestry.com.
And you have never met him?
No, I've never met him in person, face to face.
Are you ready to see him for the first time?
Yes, I'm really excited. I really would like to see him.
Jerome, will you please escort Mr. Leaks into the courtroom?
Ms. Luttrell's mom gave her 3 different stories. First, dad left for cigarettes and never returned. Then, mom just didn't want him around. And now, mom straight up says, girl, I don't even know.
I was told that my father had went to the store and apparently was to buy cigarettes and he never came back. And then when I was 13 years old, she told me that basically she didn't really want my father in my life. I asked her about my father and she told me that basically, you know, sorry daughter, I just really don't know, so long ago and I can't remember.
The judge pulls up an exhibit, 3 possible dads. One was a co-worker, one a classmate, and one a mystery man from a party. Mom admits to short relationships and losing contact. This is turning into who's the daddy?
You say there are 3 possible fathers, one of which was a co-worker.
Yes, we dated, we got familiar with each other, and then it ended up in intimacy.
Did you ever tell that person you were pregnant?
I didn't know how to contact them, and I had moved as well.
You also say that there was a classmate.
Mom kind of remembers an African-American man at a party, but she isn't sure if it was Mr. Leaks. Basically, she's saying, I might have been there, he might have been there, who knows? Sherlock Holmes would need more clues.
What happened with Mr. Leaks?
It was a party that had occurred in my neighborhood, and I got to know somebody, I don't know if it's him, but somebody that could be her father at that party.
Do you know this man?
I don't know him. When she brought him up, I just said, well, he looks familiar.
Modern technology saves the day. Ms. Luttrell finds a match on Ancestry.com, messages a cousin, and discovers Lee Leaks. She then Facebook stalks him and thinks she looks like his daughter. But is it real or just wishful thinking?
And so how did you connect with him through his family?
Through Ancestry.com, directly messaged a family member who was my cousin, who was my cousin. And then his wife actually was the one who made his profile. So I was talking directly mostly with his wife. And then I also talked to him as well. They came to the conclusion that possibly Lee Leaks could be my father in the family.
Ah!
Mom's vague description doesn't help much. She did say he was younger, and Mr. Leaks was 19 while she was 35. Mom admits she was at a party with a younger guy, but that's still a whole lot of maybe.
Well, my mom, like I said, the 3 stories that I gave you was talk to her about like the age range as well. Like at the time he would have been, I think, 19 and she was 35. She said it is possible because she remembers going to the party, like she had stated, and he was younger.
Oh, she remembered sleeping with a young guy at this party.
Yes.
Most confident denial ever. The judge asks if he remembers the party, and he flat out says no. No hesitation, just a firm, I would have remembered that. The audience laughs. Same, dude.
Do you remember this party and this one-night stand?
No, I'm just looking at it right now thinking, okay, it's nice to meet you, but no, I was not at that party.
Were you ever at a party having sex with an older woman?
No. You know, if I'm having a child or anything like that, if I even know there's a chance I'll have a child, I'm sticking around. I'm not going anywhere.
Mr. Leaks pulls out a picture of his mom, and whoa, they do look alike. Even the judge pauses. If he's not the dad, then why does she look like his mom's twin?
Miss Luttrell submitted a younger photo of herself. Does that look more familiar to you? So you don't remember her from a party? You don't remember her?
No, I will say this, if I can just share this with you.
Yes.
And
what is this evidence, sir?
This is a picture of her right next to my mom. They're side by side on here. And they look so much alike. She's related to us somehow, some way.
Plot twist. At the time of conception, they lived just 14 minutes apart. They could have crossed paths, but Mr. Leaks is sticking to his story. He was not at that party.
The truth is you all didn't live too far away from one another at that time. You were in Sacramento, Mr. Leaks, and Ms. Luttrell, you were as well about 14 minutes away from one another. So, I mean, it wouldn't be inconceivable to think you could have been at the same party.
If I was partying that good, that must have been a good party. And I mean...
When she asked his family, they said, yeah, Lee was wild back then. Not exactly a strong denial. She's desperate for a DNA test. Will science prove what she feels in her heart?
Begging you, I'm pleading for this DNA test because we have a really strong connection as well over the phone. I've felt like his daughter just talking with him, and as well as the other similarities with me being a musician. He told me that his mother was a singer. So I really truly believe that this is a big possibility that he's my father.
Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Leaks, you are not the father.
Oh boy, this case is messy from the start. Judge Lake introduces Jones vs. Hernandez/Trevino, where 2 women claim Mr. Trevino is their baby daddy, but he's outside dodging drama like it's a reality show. When he walks in, you just know it's about to get wild. He's just standing there like, I just want the truth. But Miss Jones is not having it. Buckle up, it's gonna be a long ride.
He's denied her back and forth. He says, I'm not the father. You have not been there.
My family and I have done a lot.
Keyword, your family.
Now it gets weird. Mr. Trevino pulls out a doctor's timeline like he's solving a crime. He claims he doesn't remember being with Miss Jones then, and she claps back, of course you don't. The way he's stumbling. She might be right, but she's about to take it up a notch.
Now you claim you went to a doctor's appointment at some point in June, around the 18th.
Yes.
And you're thinking back to that week in March, the estimated dates of conception. I don't remember being intimate with her around that time.
Judge Lake tries to bring in some feelings, reminding Miss Jones she once loved Mr. Trevino. She admits it, but quickly adds, he was also a hot mess. The emotions are flying.
Because he's the charmer. I was always intimate when he wanted.
Now you don't remember.
The spiteful lie boom. Miss Jones admits she once told Mr. Trevino Miss Jones used to party and date married men. She's like, I was single and living my best life. They're throwing accusations like it's a roast battle. But hold up, there's another woman about to join the fight. Now Trevino questions if Hernandez's baby is his. His reason? She got dressed up every time he left for work. Oh, and the baby has a hairy back, but he claims he isn't hairy. Hernandez is like, dude, I'm Mexican. We're just hairy. This logic is next level ridiculous. Judge Lake has had it. She tells Ms. Jones she can't complain when she once told Trevino he wasn't the dad. Then she tells Trevino to quit playing detective. The courtroom is holding its breath. Time for the big moment.
Now, when you get so angry at a man, I'm gonna hurt you the way you hurt me, and I'm gonna tell you that this child isn't yours, because he then starts to act like child isn't his.
You're right.
Here we go. DNA results. Surprise, surprise.
Mr. Trevino, you
Ms. Tucker is trying to prove Mr. Hunter is her father after her mom dropped a DNA bomb on her 10 years ago. She thought another man was her dad, but that turned out to be wrong. Mr. Hunter has been dodging DNA tests like it's an Olympic sport.
Miss Tucker, you believed another man was your dad until a bomb was dropped on you 10 years ago when your mother admitted that the defendant is your biological father. You opened your case to prove to Mr. Hunter that he is your dad.
Ms. Tucker is desperate for answers after growing up thinking the wrong man was her father. He told her over the phone in 5th grade that he wasn't her dad, like a bad customer service call. Now she just wants the truth, but things are about to get even messier.
I opened my case because for these last few years, I have been trying to get Charles to do a DNA test with me. I scheduled a test, he didn't show up, and it's just a lot of confusion in my own mind, and it's very traumatic to me. I'm trying to figure out if he's my father or not to close this chapter in my life.
Mr. Hunter says he was told 30 years ago he wasn't the father, so he left town for 15 years. Now he's back and more confused than ever. But wait until you hear the next twist.
Who her father really is. What is your response?
I want her to find out who her father really is also.
You don't believe you are?
Well, I had doubts because her mother told me that I wasn't 30 years ago, so.
You hear your daughter speak?
Yes, Your Honor.
Express her pain?
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he was her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Tucker overheard her supposed dad say he didn't believe she was his child. One second, she was excited to talk to him, and the next, he was denying her like a bad holiday surprise. And middle school made things even worse.
I was in the 5th grade and his sister had came and got me one weekend like she always did. They were on the phone and I was over and I walked in and I asked, was that him on the phone? And she said yes. She gave me the phone and it was my first time ever talking to him. I was really excited. And that's when he told me that my mom was not being honest with me and he knew I wasn't his daughter.
A random woman told Ms. Tucker she looked just like her real dad, Mr. Hunter. When she asked her mom, she got a quick, "That lady don't know what she's talking about."
I was in the 7th grade. Where we're from is very small. So I was at a store. There's a woman who knows them both. And she told me, she said, "You look just like your dad." And so I go, "Oh, you know my dad?" And I said his name. And she goes, "That's not your dad." That was the first I have ever heard of him. So I went home and I did tell my mom what she said, but my mom just said she was lying.
Mr. Hunter says he was told he wasn't the father, so he just left. Years later, rumors made him second guess, and now he's confused like the rest of us.
Adrian told me she was pregnant, and she told me the child wasn't mine. She told me she was pregnant. She said the baby wasn't mine. I left and I got my life together. And I stayed gone for 15, 16 years. I came back to North Carolina hearing rumors that she was mine. So what am I supposed to do when someone tells me I'm not the father? I move on with my life.
Middle school drama at its peak. Ms. Tucker got called out of class to meet a man claiming to be her father. Spoiler, it was Mr. Hunter, and she shut him down real quick.
I was in middle school. The young woman that is like his daughter, I guess he was there to pick her up. This was the first day I ever saw him. And he told me who he was. He was my dad. That's what he said. So
what?
That's what he told me that day. Said the other man was my dad. And just so happened, my mom still said no. And then we see him. I guess he had just moved back to town.
Ms. Tucker's aunt spilled the tea in the car, revealing her mom wasn't telling the truth. Her mom sat there looking guilty while everything unraveled.
I was 23 and we were in the car with my aunt and I just was talking about some things that I wanted to do, and my aunt made the comment to my mom that she had not been truthful to me about who my dad was and she needed to tell me the truth. My mom, she just looked like my aunt better keep her mouth shut.
Oh.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Mr. Hunter dated Ms. Tucker's mom's sister. You can practically hear the audience gasping.
Well, I had met a young lady. Come to find out it was Adrian's sister. And I thought about that.
So you slept with her sister. Did you know this?
This has nothing to do with my sister.
When I came back to North Carolina, Adrian wouldn't to me, she wouldn't talk to me, she had nothing to do with me. That was the reason why I felt she wouldn't talk to me.
Drum roll.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.